No.
Awesome. Okay, once it pops up on stream on my end. Okay, so I have 2 donations to read off. Whoa, 2 donations. We have a $3 donation from Super Game Maker that says nothing. Thanks for the $3 dono, Super Game Maker. And to put us over our $100 goal, we have a $15 donation from Count Gooby stating, "Hey Josh, did you text Scooby, Trevor, Zach, and Daniel in for the night?"
No, not yet. And they're Scobies, Gooby, not Scoobies. But thank you, that's pretty funny.
Without further ado, we have all the parts to get for some Pikmin. 10 will be listening for you to give a countdown on stream, and good luck, Oblivi.
Where is the countdown going again? Pardon me. Oh, on stream.
You just do it yourself.
Oh, okay. Pardon me then. Hi, folks. I'm the Oblivinator. This is going to be Pikman All Parts. I'll count down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So Pikmin, it's a Nintendo GameCube game. Very simple story. This is Captain Oliver. He's in the SS Dolphin. He's going to get hit by an asteroid and crash land on this planet. And as the Dolphin is crashing into the planet, ship parts are breaking off of it and landing on the planet too. Captain Oliver has to recover all 30 of his missing ship parts in order to blast off and return home. If he doesn't, he only has 30 days before his life support system fails. So the goal for this game is to collect all 30 ship parts before 30 endgame Pikmin days. Pretty simple story, short and sweet. I like it. It's all explained in this one cutscene. Captain Oliver will utilize Pikmin to help him recover all these ship parts. There are 3 different colors of Pikmin, red, blue, and yellow. And we'll go over each of them as we encounter them. This is the red onion, which will give us a red Pikmin. Red Pikmin are immune to fire. They also deal more damage in battle compared to the other 2 Pikmin types. And there he is. This is our first Pikmin that we plucked. So day 1 is just a tutorial day. The objective for this day is to grow 25 red Pikmin and collect our ship's engine, which we'll show in a couple of minutes. So all we're going to be doing is just trying to grow these Pikmin as fast as possible and as efficient as possible. So Pikmin gather these little pellet posies, and then they can bring them back to the onion and convert them into more Pikmin sprouts. They can also do that with enemy creatures that we defeat too. There are two different types of, or I guess techniques that we use to throw Pikmin. One of them is called fast throwing. The C-stick in this game, since it's a Nintendo GameCube, so using the C-stick on the GameCube controller kind of marches Pikmin into the direction of the C-stick that you're pointing. Now, if you use the C-stick to kind of march Pikmin close to Olimer's body while he's throwing it, he'll throw the Pikmin a whole lot faster than if you were not to march Pikmin close to his body. And that technique is called fast throwing. It allows us to just throw Pikmin incredibly faster compared to just mashing A normally. The other technique is called far throwing. That's where Olimer holds a Pikmin, runs forward, and then throws the Pikmin as he's running. And the Pikmin inherits a little bit more extra speed and distance, kind of like an object would in real life. That little spinning bundle of pistons on the bottom corner of the screen is the engine. If I walk up to it, there's a cutscene that's going to play. Right now, I'm just kind of waiting to activate this cutscene until the onion is busy spitting out Pikmin sprouts or Pikmin are growing in the ground. The reason being is cutscenes don't stop like background stuff from happening. It just kind of doesn't pause the game that way. So during a cutscene, the onion can still spit out Pikmin seeds, and Pikmin can still grow in the ground. And doing that while there's a cutscene going just kind of helps you multitask a little bit. Right now we have 20 red Pikmin. That'll allow us to carry the engine back. Except that guy decided to be lazy and waited a little bit. It's unfortunate. There's all 25 red Pikmin on the engine. So there's a second ship part in this area. This area is called the impact site. There's another ship part here. It's back here. It's in that clam way in the back. It's called the Positon generator. Now, using some glitches, it's possible to collect that part with red Pikmin, surprisingly. It doesn't yield a different result, though. As soon as a ship part is collected on day one, the day immediately ends, and you get a little end of day screen that shows some statistics and stuff like that. So theoretically, or I guess not theoretically, but because of that, we're always going to have to make a return trip to the impact site to collect the second part. And that leads to the world record of this run taking 6 endgame Pikmin days to complete. I'm going to be going for an 8-day run. I'm not at the skill level of the 6-day or the 7-day runners of this game, unfortunately. But an 8-day run is a nice compromise. It's still pretty fast, and it's kind of a little bit more of an intermediate run that way. At the end of every day, we get this little cutscene where all the Pikmin return to their onions, and the dolphin will launch up. Then there'll be a little statistical string that kind of shows you your Pikmin growth, how many died in battle, how many left behind, remaining ship parts to be collected, etc. I'm also going to be saving here. If I was going for like a personal best or something, I would not be saving, because saving takes an extra about 2.5 seconds. But because this is a marathon, if something goes wrong, I want to be able to fall back. This is the Forest of Hope. On my splits, I call this place the Forest of Nope. It seems to end a lot of my runs very frequently. Hopefully we get some good performance here today, though. We're kind of stuck in this little landing area until we break down that white gate that's in front of us. But we'll take the time to grow just a couple more Pikmin since we have a few pellet poses here. This also is kind of like the iconic Pikmin music from this area. You know, a lot of people really like the Forest of Hope theme song. So the first little section of this day, like it's kind of like the first quarter of the day, we're going to be growing up to 77 red Pikmin ideally. Now, having a few more or a few less is all right, but 77 is kind of the magic number that we're going for. So we're going to be collecting some pellets and killing some enemies out here and bringing them back to the onion. Oops, didn't mean to throw that guy over there. It's kind of tricky throwing Pikmin around. They like to grab onto objects that you're not really throwing them at. The AI in this game, it's decent, but it has its flaws. I did things a little bit out of order, so I want to throw just a couple more Pikmin on this 5 pellet. Just to get it back here a little bit sooner. Now, unfortunately, we got to sit here and pluck, like, what's 77 minus 28? 49? Yeah, 49. We got to pluck 49 Pikmin. I think my math is correctly. I don't know. It's kind of late. Don't trust my math. The next thing that we're going to try and do is get all these Pikmin into flowers. Now, this is where the big luck factor comes in for this run. If you were to leave a Pikmin in the ground, eventually the leaf on top of its head would transform into a bud, and then that bud would transform into a flower if you left it in again for an even longer amount of time. Flower Pikmin move fast, and they work faster, so for a speed run, you want to have the majority of your Pikmin flowered. Looks like I got trolled here. Oh, I managed to get sun nectar. Good. We're going to be trying to flower all of our Pikmin in this run. I need 4 Pikmin just kind of hang out there for a second. And then that was one of the first instances of a Pikmin tripping. He was kind of in the left of the squad and tripped over. If a Pikmin trips, you can simply wait and he'll get back up and catch up. Or if you dismiss your Pikmin, he'll immediately recover and travel back towards the squad that way. So sometimes if you see me randomly just kind of dismiss Pikmin, it's probably because one tripped. And I'm just kind of trying to recover the Pikmin that way. Up here is the second color of Pikmin that we're going to meet. They are the yellow Pikmin. There we go. This game is kind of about quick math. You got to be able to subtract and add on the fly. You get used to the number of Pikmin that you're supposed to have in your squad, and then if you lose like 1 or 2, you can kind of make some quick adjustments. Yellow Pikmin can be thrown farther and higher compared to the other Pikmin, and they can also carry bomb rocks, which are used to destroy stone gates or deal massive amounts of damage to enemies. Now we're only going to be growing about 15 yellow Pikmin, plus a couple more just in case a few die. But for this run, we only need 15 yellow Pikmin. Why is this guy not carrying that pellet bag? Lazy bum. Coming up is another instance of when I want a cutscene to occur. When there's going to be a cutscene when I discover bomb rocks, and as you can see, like the enemies are being sucked up into the onion, and seeds are being planted during that cutscene. It just kind of saves a little bit of time to have multiple things going on at once. We're going to destroy this gate with 3 bomb rocks, but we're not going to go through the gate. Instead, having that gate open will save a considerable amount of time on the return trip to this area. I'm not going to be able to collect every single ship part in the Forest of Hope in one go. I'll have to come back at a later time and round up the rest of them. So having that gate destroyed saves time on the return trip. We do that quite a bit in this run. The 4 Pikmin that I put on that bundle of sticks earlier in the day to extend that bridge is another example of that. There's our first ship part. It's called the Eternal Fuel Dynamo. Now, really soon I should be having a noon message right there. If I'm close to the base during that noon message, I know I'm on a pretty good pace. Then I have another stone gate back here. Then we got to try and get these yellow Pikmin flowered up. Looks like I'm getting some bad luck. Okay, managed to get them off. I was getting a little worried there. And I managed to get some of those red Pikmin that were still leaves too. Alright, I'm feeling pretty good now. This is the back half of the Forest of Hope. Quite a few ship hearts back here. Coming up here is a little bit of a sequence break. There is this white gate back here that normally Pikmin can't reach because most Pikmin can't go through water. But with some fancy throwing of the yellow Pikmin, they can place their bombs on top of the gate and destroy it. Here's another ship part. This one's called the Nova Blaster. And we're also refill on bomb rocks here. Then I need to get 4 bomb rock Pikmin up on this ledge for later. Oh, that was 5. Oh well. Press the A button one too many times there. Here's a black stone gate that requires 9 bomb rocks to destroy. Also, if you're wearing headphones, you're going to hear a loud boom. Just be aware of that. Camera, please. Right now I'm having Pikmin kill these purple shear grubs. Purple shear grubs are the only shear grubs that could eat Pikmin, and I don't want them to be eating Pikmin as they're carrying ship parts back. Alright, round everybody up, make sure no one's trying to sneak carry some creatures back to the onions. Got the whimsical radar up here. This will unlock the game's map function when you collect it. And then over here is the extraordinary bolt. It's extraordinary. Okay. We'll grab these guys that are chilling at the base, and then we're going to go meet our first boss enemy of the game. He's called the Armored Cannon Beetle, and he's guarding a ship part. Now, if I do this correctly, I won't even have to fight him at all. It just kind of depends on what sort of mood he's in. I'm going to try and do a strategy to deload him, it makes me kind of nervous because if it doesn't work, bad things happen. And I may have to go for a backup strategy if he's not in a good position to deload him. And I'll talk about deloading enemies later. Okay, he's not going to do it. So I'm just going to go for the backup strategy instead of wasting some time to wait for him to get into a specific position. With that ship part, we've finally collected enough to expand the dolphin's range, which means that on day 3 I'll be able to go to a new area and collect more ship parts there. Oh, he did do it. We'll go for it. What's the worst that can happen? The run dies. So if my Pikmin count suddenly starts plummeting, we'll know it didn't work. But ideally, it's very favorable that they should be able to carry that ship part right past them, and he won't kill any of them. I see Gooby thinks very highly of me in the chat to think I could get a 110. This is the last ship part we're going to collect. It's the shock absorber. And I need to distract this guy. Make sure he doesn't chomp down on the Pikmin as they're carrying the part past him. That should be good. So now we'll go round up these Pikmin that built the bridge, and we're going to call it a day 2. I'm going to go for my first cutscene skip of the day, or run, I suppose. If I activate a text box on the exact frame that a ship part would be collected by the dolphin, it skips the cutscene. It would skip this cutscene. It's very tricky. It's a frame perfect trick. You can kind of buffer it, but I'm not very good at it. Hopefully, during the run, I'll be able to get 1 or 2 of them at the very least, just to kind of show it off. So now we're going to go to the Forest Navel. This is my favorite area. It's just kind of like a chill area. It has a low, nice, mellow beat to it. It's kind of, the lights are dimmed. I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of just kind of relaxing. Now, the very first thing I have to do is another really big luck part of this run. I have to kill a fiery blowhog on the base, or on the beach, pardon me. There's a beach on this level. I'm going to kill one of the fiery blowhogs there, and I need him to drop a pellet of any color. And it just has to be 1 pellet. So here he is. And I need that pellet for the bread bug that happens to be walking past, because he likes to carry these pellets. Okay, he's going to grab that one instead. That's fine. But if I put 2 Pikmin on the pellet, they can kind of overpower him in the tug of war, and they're going to drag him back to the onion. Now, when he gets sucked up into the onion, he's not going to die. He would live with about just a sliver of HP. So by throwing a Pikmin on him like I did earlier, which did just a tiny bit of damage, he will actually die at this point. And he has a ship part inside of him, so that's why we have to kill him. You'll hear a little jingle when he dies. Now we're going to collect all these creatures and pellet posies that they dropped, and we're going to bring them close to where the blue onion is. And then once we start growing blue Pikmin later in the day, the blue Pikmin will collect all these pellets and creatures, and we will greatly boost up their numbers. And there is that little jingle of the bread bug being killed by the getting sucked up into the onion. There, and that's a lot of food. But we need a lot of blue Pikmin. We need about 90 blue Pikmin, so that'll get us about halfway there. Couple stragglers that tripped. Now I gotta throw all 73 or 75 red Pikmin up here. This throw sucks. There's just so many. But we'll get the red Pikmin to start building this bridge. And then we'll take the yellow Pikmin back here to get some bomb rocks. That ship part's called the gravity jumper. We'll come back for that later. Right now we're just focusing on getting the bomb rocks. Now we're off to go fight 2 bosses. First, I need to lure this Wollywog over here. That Pikmin decided to fight the Wollywog. He's going to die. That is okay because I have too many red Pikmin and some of them are going to have to die eventually. So we'll destroy this stone gate. And we'll take these guys down here to fight this boss called the Puffstool. He's a big pushover once you know how to beat him. And he had the Omega Stabilizer inside of him. And then we'll have the red Pikmin carry the Puffstool corpse back. Then up here is my personal favorite boss. This one's called the Beady Longlegs. Now the developers intended for you to fight him with yellow Pikmin because he kind of holds his body above the ground really high. It is possible to beat him with red Pikmin though. I also really like this guy's theme music. It's just kind of really tense. And this guy's just stamping around trying to squish your Pikmin. Eventually he will lower his body like this. And there we go. I was okay with some Pikmin dying there. I still need to kill one more Pikmin. But he had the guard satellite inside of him, so we'll carry that back. Round up all of our Pikmin and head this way. You can really see the power of the flower Pikmin here. how like the bud Pikmin just really lag behind. And then hopefully we don't have too bad of a traffic jam up here, but we are going to be leaving the Puffstool Corpse for the blue Pikmin as well. That Puffstool Corpse will give you 30 Pikmin sprouts to whatever color bring it back to their onion. Just an insane amount of Pikmin. It's really useful for boosting up blue Pikmin numbers. Now, those Pikmin will extend that stick, and then they'll grab that automatic gear that's kind of there on the ledge. And if you're really a big fan of Pikmin, look away now, because I got a drowned one. Rip. We'll get this gate halfway, or 3/4 of the way destroyed. We'll leave a couple Pikmin here to finish it off. And then having that gate destroyed there will save time on the return trip when we have to come back to the Forest Navel, just like how we kind of destroyed some gates in the Forest of Hope earlier. But coming back to grab the gravity jumper. Now all the ship parts are heading towards the base, and all we need to do to finish up the day is grow 90 blue Pikmin. The reason I had to kill or drown that red Pikmin is because I need to have 10 blue Pikmin on the field to carry the Puffstool back. You're only allowed to have 100 Pikmin total on the field, and at that time I had 91 Pikmin, so one of them had to die in order to make room for a blue Pikmin sprout. It's unfortunate, but we're trying to go fast here, so his sacrifice will not be in vain. And as you can heavily imply, blue Pikmin are allowed to survive in water. So they will be very useful in the area that we're going to on day 4 called the Distant Spring, which is about 75% water. That's an odd way to carry that pellet. Now it's kind of tricky to sometimes to get Pikmin to grab onto this Puffstool, especially when it's in such close proximity to a lot of other things. They just kind of have trouble grabbing onto it. Oh, that guy got stuck over here. Good. All right. And while that's heading back, we'll collect these final 2 ship parts that we left by the base. One of them is the space float, which was inside the bread bug that got killed underneath the onion. And the other one is the Omega Stabilizer, which we left over here to collect later. Now the bread bug corpse I'm going to give to the yellow Pikmin. It'll help me grow just a couple extra in case the worst should happen. And here I'm going to try and time the collection of these parts to give myself a chance to get what's called an area cutscene skip. Now when you collect enough ship parts, there is a... Oops, don't collect them just yet. There is a little cutscene that shows the dolphin expanding its range. Oh, okay, I missed it. So basically I have to get 2 frame perfect tricks in a row, and it's really difficult for me. But if I did do this correctly, I would have gotten an area cutscene skip, which would have skipped this cutscene that's about to play. Unfortunately, I haven't got a single cutscene skip at all this run, which is a little disappointing, but it is frame perfect, and I suck at it. So we're going to put some Pikmin away, pluck these 2 sprouts. Alright. I have these guys finish up destroying this gate. And then let's go collect a lot of food for these blue Pikmin. No, this thing got stuck. There we go. Good enough. Okay, I need to grab that guy. Alright, now that everything's collected, let's end the day. So those 6 Pikmin that we had destroying that black gate, they're going to get left to the night. Fortunately, I don't have enough time to go back and grab them. Now we're going to go to day 4, which is the distant spring area. This area is the one that gives me the most trouble. The goal for this run is to collect all 10 ship parts in the distant spring in one day and not have to make a return trip. If I'm able to do that, I save about 3 minutes on the run. It's pretty impressive. It's a little difficult for me though, so I might stop commentating as frequently if I start to kind of try and focus, so just kind of excuse me for that. But the first thing we need to do here is try and get all 90 blue Pikmin flowered, and it can be a little tricky. There are 2 grass patches here, but they're kind of notorious for having like a very low nectar count, or a nectar drop rate, it feels like. Alright, so I managed to get 89 there. I got 1 lone leaf blue Pikmin. Okay, he's just going to get left behind at this point. I'll go with 89 blue Pikmin instead of 90. It's that much better to go with just flowers instead of having that leaf guy tag along. So that's the repair type bolt. And we have some sheer wigs over here to defeat. This part's always a little annoying, defeating these sheer wigs here. Pikmin like to try and carry them back. Alright, now I need to get some Pikmin onto this bridge. Good enough. And we're going to go over here and fight an enemy. He's not a boss enemy. He's just a normal enemy that happens to have a ship part inside of him. It's kind of weird. In the Pikmin community, they kind of joke about, how did this guy get a ship part inside of him? Because you'll see what he looks like. His name is the Puffy Blowhog. And he actually has a ship part inside of him. I need him to look this way. Hello, friend. Come over here. And I need to lure him this way just a little bit. That should be good. You'll notice his mouth looks like a balloon nozzle. So it's kind of like, how did he manage to get this ship part inside of him once you see it? I don't know. He managed to eat it somehow, so probably just stretched his mouth over it. There are 2 yellow Wollywogs over here that I need to have jump out of the way a little bit. Otherwise, they could jump on the Pikmin carrying the interstellar radio back. That was the ship part inside of the Puffy Blowhog. Two bridges over here that I need to build, and I also need to lure some Wollywogs over here to different positions too, just so they don't try and jump on Pikmin later in the day. So we're going to build these 2 bridges so we can collect the gluon drive later. That's that ship part that's hanging out right there. So we'll let those Pikmin build those 2 bridges and then we'll come back later. Oh, I managed to get a cutscene skip there. Nice. So one odd sound effect of cutscene skips is they mute different sounds of the game. And it's hard to predict what sound is going to get muted. Right now, the throwing Pikmin sound, the whistle, and like the C-stick music are all muted. And it really doesn't make sense why skipping a cutscene would mute different sounds of the game. But it's one of the side effects of cutscene skips. It's just kind of odd. Alright, now I want to make sure I have 10 bomb rocks here. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, there's all 10. Cool. That guy is just sitting there with a rock. Alright, we're going through my least favorite part of the day, or my least favorite area of the distant spring. It's this little area. There's 2 bull bears and a puffy blowhog, and Pikmin like to trip here. And if they trip and manage to wake up one of those bull bears, I have a bad time. So it's always a little precarious. Ooh, don't set yourself on fire, buddy. Alright, that guy tripped, but he managed to make it through. Hey, and then we have a recycled boss, the armored cannon beetle. This time he's not guarding a part. The part is actually inside of him. We'll collect that in just a little bit, though. Oh, that guy tripped. Sometimes they can trip and they can grab onto the bridge to try and build it. You know, they want to be helpful, but I don't want them to be building the bridge. I want them to come with me over here. I don't want this guy. I want Bomb Rock Pikmin. Alright, so now that those walls are destroyed, we can collect the bowsprit. Ooh, it's clipped into the... That could be a problem. This has happened before on marathon runs. It's always unfortunate when this happens. One more. There we go. Alright. Alright, so that cost a little bit of time. Hopefully it didn't kill the day. And then I have another sequence break over here. Just like the Forest of Hope, when we destroyed that gate through the water. We got another one over here that we're going to do some fancy throwing of the yellow Pikmin with bomb rocks to try and destroy it without having to use blue Pikmin. Nice. I need to get this Wallywog back to jump back in this little area. Where is the pilot's seat? That's no good. Okay. So something happened there. I got to think of something on the fly now. That's unfortunate. Okay, this is going to turn into a 9-day run now, unfortunately. I'll leave the Pikmin over here. I must have thrown a Pikmin on accident. Yeah, he's sitting on the ledge there. Okay, that sucks, but we'll try and get as many ship parts as we can. How many do I have here? Okay, I'm just going to leave this here. It's already in the base area, that's fine. Alright, so this would normally be a glitchless run, except I'm going to perform one glitch here, which is just a little clip. I'm going to have this ball bear bite me and kind of force me up through this ledge here. That's going to skip a very lengthy puzzle that I would have to do to collect this part up here, the Kronos reactor. So the pilot seat finally makes it back. I'll lure these water dumples over here, and we'll go get one more ship part, the UV lamp, and then after that, we'll probably collect the zirconium rotor that's by the base, and then we'll have to come back on a return trip for the gluon drive. And I still need this guy to kind of, oops, ouch, he bit me. Come, nope, go up the ledge, Oliver. There we go. The curse continues. I've never had a marathon run that managed to collect all ship parts in the distant spring in one go. Something always seems to happen. It's just kind of funny. Oh, I got a cutscene skip there. Sick. Dank. Now, had I been able to collect all 10 ship parts in a single go, like I said, I wouldn't have to make this trip here that's going to take about 3 minutes, give or take. I also kind of have to change up the route just a little bit on some of these other days. Enemies, after you defeat an enemy, after a certain amount of days, they respawn. So the reason we like to do Distant Spring in one day is all the enemies that we killed in the Forest of Hope and the Forest Naval are going to be respawned during our second trips there, and I have to kill some of them again, which is a little unfortunate. But it's just a side effect. The other side effect is on day 5, a couple more enemies spawn on the Distant Spring compared to Distant 4. Notably, this puffy blowhog that's kind of hanging out here by base. And there are 2, wow, he's really coming over here. There's a snitch bug. I haven't fought one of these in forever. But they suck. And now the Wollywog's over here. It's just a bad day at this point now. Alright, well, I need him to come over here to this wall at the very least. Okay, he's going back home. Alright, so that was a considerable time waste, but it is what it is. I like how this guy is just... Oh, he's dead now, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to lure these 2 bull bears over here. That way they leave the Pikman carrying the gluon drive alone. Now there's a little trick in this game. If you press down on the D-pad, Oliver lays down. So he's currently laying down right now trying to take a nap. And while he's laying down, it's invulnerable, or it's impossible for creatures to hurt him. So that's why he's just kind of laying down and the ball bears are chomping on him and not doing any sort of damage. Alright, but that's all. That's it for the Distant Spring. Now we have 3 very short days to round up the rest of the ship parts and all the areas that we have to make a return trip to. These next few days are all going to be very, very short. Well, that Pikman's going to die. Rest in peace. Oh, he lived. What a champion. So I'm going to put quite a few Pikmin onto this bridge. And then the rest of them, along with the reds, we're going to go fight the final boss of this area. It's called the Burrowing Snake Rat. There's actually 3 of them. One of them has a ship part inside of him. He's in this area, if you remember on day 2 when we destroyed the gate, he is back here. It's always a little tricky to get them across that land bridge without any of them drowning. Anyways, the one in this corner, he's the one that has our ship part. Now, the way to defeat him is to have the Pikmin latch onto his head as he comes out of the ground. Now, he can come up out of the ground 2 different ways. He can come up fast like he just did there, or he can come up slow like he did here. Now when he comes up slow, you can have all the Pikmin kind of grab onto him and just one-shot him. Oh, please don't carry the pellet back. The final ship part for this area is across this bridge, the Sagittarius. Now this ship part, the Geiger counter, there's a pretty popular fan theory. It's confirmed that the planet that we are on is Earth. and it takes place in the distant future after humans have gone extinct. Now, one of the fan theories is because this Geiger counter is constantly going off, there was some sort of nuclear war that made all the humans go extinct. It's just kind of a neat little reference. Heyo. Heyo, I got both of them. Heck yes. Alright, so we're going to go back to this area, fight the clam that's housing the Positon generator, ignoring these glint beetles. You're not a yellow Pikmin with a bomb rock. Alright, so this clam fight can be a little tricky. I have to get my cursor in a very specific spot. And the GameCube control stick isn't exactly the most precise thing in the world. But there it is, the positron generator. Ooh, just a little bit late on that one. Now I hope there's no Pikmin already in the ground. That would kind of ruin my day. Okay, good. Sometimes when a flower Pikmin dies or loses his petals in battle... Ooh, wow, I stopped way too early on that one. The petals will fall to the ground and become Pikmin seeds or sprouts. And then you come back the next day and there's Pikmin hanging out in the ground. Well, it's a little annoying because they're not with me in my squad at that point, and they throw my numbers off just ever so slightly. Now I have to fight some of these blowhogs again on the beach. Otherwise they will set Pikmin on fire as they carry ship parts back. Now we're on our way to visit my favorite ship part of the entire run, the analog computer. It's funny because computers are digital, not analog. But these Pikmin, blue Pikmin, cannot carry this through fire. Oops, get off of it. So we'll have to leave it there and have red Pikmin carry it back in just a bit. So there's the anti-dioxin filter, but I need these Wollywogs to jump kind of out of the way a little bit. So they leave the blue Pikmin alone as they carry it out of the water. That's good, and then this fella down here needs to kind of jump this way. Good. Now, they should be fine the rest of the way. This ship part up here is the Libra. It's a little infamous because this ship part can kind of soft lock your game. And basically make it so that you're unable to collect every single ship part. Now when ship parts fall and they're on camera, they tend to have very weird physics and they kind of bounce all over the place. And when that Libra falls off that cliff, it can bounce with such tremendous vigor and force that it falls into the black abyss below, and you are unable to collect it at all. Thus, you are unable to collect all 30 ship parts, so an all parts speedrun would be uncompletable. Also, the Libra is one of the required ship parts that you have to collect in order to get at least a decent ending. And so, losing it to the void automatically gives you the bad ending, which sucks. It actually happened to me at one point. I played this game quite a bit when I was younger, in elementary school. And that happened to me during one of my playthroughs, and I didn't really know what to do. I just kind of went on and played through the game without it. And then I realized at one point, I had to collect it, and there was no way to collect it, so I was just kind of screwed at that point. So the last ship part to round up is the Ionium Jet number 2. Which is down here. Or no, this is the Ionium Jet number 1. Pardon me. Number 2 was in the distant spring. Just like the first trip through the Forest Navel, there is a chance to get an area cutscene skip with these 2 ship parts, so I will be trying for that. I need the Libra to get just a little bit ahead of the analog computer. That should be fine. There's one. Oh, okay, I missed the final one. That's unfortunate. If I would have skipped this cutscene here... Oh, I did manage to get it. Never mind. Neat. Actually, I don't think I did, though. Regardless, I managed to skip the area cutscene, or the cutscene where the dolphin's range expands, so I'm not quite sure what I did there. But I managed to skip it, so that saves time. And now we just have one final ship part to collect, which is inside one final boss. This area is called the Final Trial, and I really like the music here. It's kind of like it's a little bit more upbeat and kind of intense. You can tell that it's the final area. No, the developers intended you to utilize all 3 colors of Pikmin to kind of solve this puzzle leading up to the final boss. Due to an oversight, though, we can just use blue and yellow Pikmin and complete it without using the red Pikmin and complete it pretty quickly this way. Now this jump always kind of throws me in a loop. Okay, well, he kind of committed suicide. That's okay. I have extra yellow Pikmin. Rest in peace. He just kind of charged the wall as the bomb rock was exploding. It was actually kind of funny. You can call me like a sadist or whatever, but when the Pikmin kill themselves in funny ways, I always get a chuckle. I think it's just one of the side effects of running this game for so long. And, you know, the Pikmin have kind of screwed me over so many times. When they go ahead and bite the bullet in funny ways, I just kind of chuckle. It's a love-hate relationship with them. Now, I had to swap out those blue Pikmin for red Pikmin, simply because I'm not able to mash fast enough. So what I mean by that is during the final boss fight, if you're you know, if you're a high caliber runner of this game, you can use just blue Pikmin and then the 15 yellows that you need for bomb rocks. I can't mash fast enough to throw enough blue Pikmin onto the final boss to deal enough damage to defeat him before he shakes off Pikmin. And it'll make a little bit more sense when the battle is actually taking place. So I have to swap out the blue Pikmin for red Pikmin because red Pikmin deal more damage. Just simply because I can't mash fast enough. So thankfully there's a nice little backup strat here. But behind this gate, that's the boss right there, the bundle of green that's burrowed in the ground. He's the Emperor of Ball Blacks, which houses, or he ate the final ship part. We need 15 bomb rocks from this pipe to defeat him. And I need to just kind of position my Pikmin a little bit. So we'll take all the bomb rock Pikmin, we'll throw them over here. Round up these guys and bring them down here. Wake this guy up. Let him eat the bomb rocks. And there we go, we one-cycled him, which is really nice. And here's the final ship part. So time will be coming up in probably about 45 seconds or so. It comes up once the dolphin collects this final ship part. Now there's a little bit of an Easter egg I can show off. Earlier in the run I was utilizing the command that lays Olimer down on the ground. Now if I do that while there's Pikmin in my squad, and I'm near an onion, the Pikmin will carry me back to the onion. We get some fireworks. So time is coming up. Ready? Time. This is kind of a nice Easter egg to end the run on. So it looks like I got a 1:16:58. That's a new marathon PB for me. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the 8-day run like I want to. Getting an 8-day run dramatically lowers that time. It's something like the 1:14 range or faster. So, but that was still a pretty good run. I feel like nothing too major happened except for the pilot seat not getting collected quick enough in the distance spring. Had that mistake not happened, I feel like this would have been an 8-day run, so there's always next time. Other than that, I really don't have too much to say. I want to thank everybody for watching, and thank you for having me in the marathon.